What's up, travelers? How y'all doing? We're back with another episode. Y'all know what it is. I'm here with the multidisciplined talent that is Honestly Just Joe. Just Joe, Grandma G.
I'm good, man.
Do the things and introduce yourself.
All right. Hey, my name is Honestly Just Joe. I do a lot of things. I'm a creative. I'm a graphic designer. Well, that's what's putting food on the table at the moment. But then I'm a writer, I'm a singer, aspiring rapper. I just know how to flow. So I'm like, okay, it can be called rap. And also I'm a student of life, eh? Yes, I'm a student of life. So like I don't have one subject in the universe that I like. Because I always find where they all connect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I just keep it like that. I'm accepting to a lot of things, and then I make my own connections and keep it in a way that's suitable for me type of things. Yeah, so that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. So
Yeah.
how does it like happen for you? Was it gradually unlocked or everything sort of like happened all at the same time?
I like that question.
Yeah.
I think it was a gradual thing. Because it was like very early on. Okay, so like very early on in life, I got into the Christian thing, right? And then I was aware of how it was accepted or not accepted in the world. You get? So I already knew being a Christian what it would look like, right? But then I was also always fascinated by sci-fi and stuff like that. So I always loved science as well, even at school. So at some point, I became aware that sometimes scientists try to prove that God doesn't exist. You know what I mean? And that was a real problem for me. You know, because I didn't know any like prominent Christian scientists. You know what I mean? So that was a thing, a battle that I had inside me that I carried for many years. Because I'm down with Jesus. You know what I mean? For my soul. But then now, I also love this thing that sometimes wants to say Jesus doesn't exist. You know what I mean? So I just was honest with myself that I'm going to keep what I love. You know what I mean? And I won't stick to what is fighting about it. I'll just look for what about it can fit together. You know what I mean? And so it's almost like that view, that my current view responded to that request. You know what I mean? And so it kept on showing me how I can bridge the two. Right now, I have a book that I'm writing, it's called "Can God and Science Coexist?" And I titled it that because I was watching some thingy, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he asked the question, "Can God and science coexist?" And his answer was no. So I'm writing the book because I've found with the coexistence. Because my logic was, if God created everything, science is a thing that we have here. You know what I mean? So if God is real and science has real aspects to it, it should validate the creator of everything.
Instead of kind of rebuking.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And if it's rebuking him, the rebukes should be founded on logic, solid logic. You know what I mean? Because that's what science talks about. You know. So I liked that premise. Science. If somebody is bullshitting, we separate the bullshit. You know what I mean? That type of thing. So I like what I found.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, with all the avenues that you find yourself venturing in, would you say that you're in your experimental phase, or you're grounded, solid, and set on everything? You know what? And everything being what you want to do.
Dude, right now, let me tell you, I'm 31. Okay, I'm 31. I feel like I'm a baby. I feel like I'm just getting started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you see, the first question when you asked if this view that I have now, was it a gradual thing, right? Now that I have this view, right? It was gradual, right? So now I'm kind of like understanding how I'm seeing the world. And with this new sight, everything feels new. You know what I mean? Everything feels new. And it's like all the things that I think I have achieved. When I go back and review them, there's so much more that I can do with them now. So it's like, no, those were just foundations. Even the things that maybe I thought I want like accolades for. I'm seeing, no, I hadn't made it. I had just made it to the door.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And once you finish with that, when you find the door, you unlock it. It's a whole different experience.
Yes.
Yeah. So you start. It's exactly what it is. What you're saying it is. You start from a baby.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you grow.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
And it keeps occurring like that. Yeah.
Yes. It's almost like each new. It's like you grow. It's like you keep experiencing being a baby infinitely, because each time you get a grasp on a new level, by the time you're comfortable there, you become aware to a level beyond it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then now you start knowing you are now preparing yourself. Where you thought you had reached is actually now preparing you for the next one. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's very interesting.
That's dope. And again, like you play the guitar also, right? Bro, I tried to teach myself how to play the guitar. Like this the beginning of the year, I tried, bruh. Like even now, I'm still trying. I don't know if I'll manage, but it is what it is, dog. Like it's something else.
Yo, actually, on that, huh?
Yeah.
When did you start?
I think in Jan.
Now I'm still intermediate, ne? Talk about it some other time. Okay, it's called Mystical Lady. Mystical lady, won't you tell me who you are? I need to know your name. Your heart, it beats a melody I know. Speak through your heart to my soul. But what I can tell you is I went through something similar to what you're going through. Yeah. When I first got my guitar, I remember the first year was frustrating because just to play a tune, that was like. So at that first year, I experienced so many times where I'm like, why do I even have this? You know, because I couldn't use it. Every practice session, I would be improving, but I still couldn't use it. You know, I still couldn't use it. Now, I'm intermediate, right? But I have the advantage of retrospect. I can look, you know, because I taught myself.
Wow.
So what I can tell you is that you're never aware of progress as you're making it. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
So there's a lot of progress you just have to believe you're making, even though you can't see it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because after a certain period, you will be shocked at what's normal now. You know what I mean? At what's no longer a struggle. You'll start finding yourselves when you start. In the beginning, it's going to be this chord doesn't sound right. Then over some time, it'll become, I'm not moving to this chord quick enough.
Right.
You get? By that time now, you've already handled the sounds of the chords and they sound proper. Now you're trying to get to transition through them quicker. You know what I mean? And by that time, when you're there, you're too busy here. You can't stop to pat yourself on the back that, hey, actually now you got the chords right. now you know your fingers know how to do, you know what I mean?
Right.
How to shape the chords. Because now you're actually in the next lesson.
Right.
When you're still chastising yourself like you're at the first lesson. You know what I mean? So just be very alert to your own progress. Even just a little bit. Like, even when you notice, Hore, your transition was smoother this time than yesterday, like today than yesterday, or this hour than earlier on. You know what I mean? That's the thing that we are never seeing. So that's now what you need to be attentive for. That's what's gonna motivate you to continue. Especially if you're teaching yourself. Because you need to look for ways where you're motivating yourself as well.
Right.
Yeah, so that's my advice from.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, I've seen somewhere that you mentioned that you're a graduate. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, looking at what you studied, right?
Yeah.
Now, how do you think you could incorporate what you studied into what you do if you haven't?
Oh my God,
Okay.
bruh.
Yeah.
Let me just say I love the questions you're asking.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Appreciate
I'm a
it.
dope.
Yeah.
So I studied, I have a degree in BCom statistics, ne?
Yeah.
So I'm an analyst. I love the perspective. I love the perspective statistics has given me as far as life. Ne? You know, when I was initially going to study chartered accounting because I wanted a qualification that gave money. That's what we thought. You know, going into varsity, you know, you're like, I'm gonna get, you know, the best one, the most prestigious degree. But then, as I was doing my research on, you know, chartered accountancy, they get like a nice salary and all that stuff. But then I found out when you're a chartered accountant, you're pretty much just that. It's like you join a whole thing and then you answer to a body. You know what I mean? Because it's like, sure, it's prestigious and everything, but to me that was so limiting. You know what I mean? It was very limiting because. So then now my mom is the one who suggested statistics, because I had never had an idea to do statistics. When she mentioned that, then I did my research on statistics, and I found out, you know, what skills what kind of jobs they do, and then they analyze stuff. And by this time, I was already looking at life, you know. I analyze, you know, and then I looked at what kind of jobs they can do, decision making and all that stuff. It was more sexy and more flexible in terms of, like, I could still be the creative me with an extra facet of statistics. You know what I mean? And even I love that you can be creative in your problem solving as well. You know what I mean? So really, it was the perfect thing for me to pay to learn. Like me as the Joe, the creative, who did all those things. Like in terms of degrees, this was the value for my money.
Absolutely. Now, you're quite a vocal person on the socials, eh? Yeah. You strike me as like someone who takes full advantage of that freedom of speech and opinion, right? Now, do you feel that all of that works against you sometimes?
Yes, absolutely. I think, especially because I'm very honest. So it means many times I'm saying how I feel personally about anything. You know what I mean? And I know I'm always risking losing those who disagree with me. You know what I mean? But then also to gain, especially because these are things that matter to me. I feel like to gain anybody who will agree with me on them is worth whoever I will lose.
Right.
You get? Because it's that thing. It's like the price of integrity. You know? I'm presenting all of me as I am.
Authenticity.
You know what I mean? Yes. And then it's like, and I know that some of me, some people won't like. So like I'm ready for that. You know, I'm ready for that. Like even I've gotten into a lot of arguments, even with friends, like on social media as well. And I've lost a few. Like this one dude straight up just he unfriended me even. I was surprised when I found out that we were no longer friends. And this is somebody I actually thought was my friend, you know. But then that was when it was hard. When I was losing people at first, when it started, it was very hard because I care about my people, Shen. You know what I mean? Anybody who I let into my circle, I care about them. So like to lose them is never nice. But it was me learning, not everybody who's around you is 100% for you.
Right.
So the more you're bringing out the real you, the quicker you will see who's for you and who isn't. Type of thing. So that's been my experience.
And they were probably just in your life to play a role that they played when they left your life, type thing.
Thank you for saying that, because also now I'm realizing what I'm bringing out has been the voice that has been quiet for a long time in my life. I was talking to my lady friend yesterday, right? And I was telling her, when I see, you know how Facebook serves up your memories. When I read some of those words, like from 8 years ago, 10 years ago, when I read some of them, they are too familiar for me to have just said them as a quote. You get? So now I'm realizing, at that time, 10 or 7 years ago, these were ideas that I thought were really good, and I really wanted them. Right now, these are things that I actually now embody. You know what I mean? I've now become what I used to profess. You know what I mean? And so, whoever I'm losing, it's because they're now getting to see who they never used to hear, back then. So now it's really like, will you still stay or stick around? You know what I mean?
You know, one thing that I've noticed is a lot of us talk about being authentic, right? But then when it comes to actually embodying that authenticity, it's like such a scary thing. When it happens, you lose, like you're saying, you lose a lot of people that you thought were for you. And then it's like, okay, authenticity, is it the price that you have to pay for being authentic? Type thing. You get what I'm trying to say?
I get you. It's like, do we know what it takes to be this thing that we all want to claim to be?
Is it not just mental? Because I've heard the term mental masturbation, right? So is it not just that?
You're right, dude. Yes, you're right. Cause you're right. Cause it's like you wanna feel good by convincing yourself you are authentic, but you don't wanna experience what comes with the authenticity.
The work is not there,
dude. That's literally masturbation. It's like you're watching porn and you're like, okay, but you're not actually having sex.
Right.
But you will feel it and you will release. It's crazy.
Like I heard that term, I was mind blown. I was like,
right.
Excuse the pun. No pun intended.
Mind blown, right? I get you.
Okay.
Oh snap! Yeah, totally, bruh. It's crazy. You know, that's I'm sure it was a creative who came up with that term. You know,
probably.
Like because and this is the thing that I've been thinking about for how us creatives, we see with our hearts, we see with our feelings, and then we're able to see how something is like another thing, even though they are different. You know what I mean? And that's. I feel like the most important people in the world are artists.
Yeah, like pieces of a puzzle, of one puzzle type thing.
Yes.
I get you.
Because Ibile, thank you for mentioning a puzzle. Because it's like the human race is a puzzle. You know what I mean? And there are, and each one of us is like a piece, a living piece. And some pieces are there to illuminate other pieces.